Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to know when I'm wrong. In a logical argument, there are 3 checkpoints, 3 things that can go wrong. And if you can show that any one of these things has gone wrong, you have disproved or discredited the argument. These are, an argument is invalid. Well, okay, a logical argument is valid. Let's not get into negatives. If you use too many negatives, you get confused. An argument is valid if it has 1, true premises, 2, clear terms, and 3, a valid logical form. It has to have true premises, clear terms, and a valid logical form. If you can show that an argument has false or uncertain premises, ambiguous terms, or an invalid logical form, then you have discredited the argument. But if the argument has all 3, if it has true premises, clear terms, and a valid logical form, then the conclusion follows necessarily by absolute logical necessity, and if you deny it, you are being irrational and pig-headed. Now this applies to everything we could call a deductive logical argument. There's 2 basic ways we tend to argue. One is deductive, the other is inductive. Deductive arguments give us certainty, logical certainty. If we can deduce something, it is absolutely certain if the thing we've deduced it from is certain. It's just as certain as the premises we started from. But in inductive reasoning, we've merely shown probability. We've shown that such and such is a likely cause or is a probable explanation. But we haven't eliminated all the other possibilities that might be out there, so we haven't proved our case. We've given a sort of indicator or hint. Now, in a while I'm going to start getting into arguments for the existence of God. And one of the things that I do, which is different than what you'll get from most apologists, is that I attempt to stay as much as possible on deductive arguments for the existence of God. Most arguments for the existence of God are teleological, meaning they are from nature. They have the form such and such exists in nature, that's as a premise, and then from there they try to imply that God must exist. The 2 arguments that I mostly rely on as intellectual justifications for belief in the existence of God, being the argument from morality and the argument from reason, are both, I'm pretty sure, deductive, not inductive. They are certain. Now, the argument for morality is definitely deductive and certain. The argument from reason I haven't studied as much as the argument from morality, and I'm still kind of working on making sure that my formulations of it have got all the bugs worked out, and so I'm hoping that I'm keeping it as a purely non-teleological and simply logical, you know. I'm hoping that I'm keeping it about abstract propositions and concepts, not about features of nature. One of the problems with arguing from features of nature is that the conversation then becomes subjected to scientific scrutiny, and this is a bad thing if you're trying to talk to most people, because most people aren't scientists. Anyone can be a philosopher and can understand arguments on philosophical grounds. Not everyone is able to follow scientific arguments. Another problem with teleological arguments is not only are they too scientific, but they can also be too philosophical, in the sense that the intelligent design movement predicates an idea of design which is not, I think, scientific. It's not a scientific idea. Design is a philosophical concept. It's not a scientific idea. There's no experiment that you can do which is going to produce the result. Design that's going to give you a definition of design, or which is going to come up positive or negative for design. It's more a sort of, you just look at it and you just kind of figure, you know, this is probably designed. That's a philosophical kind of thinking you're doing there. It's not scientific thinking. So I think that the idea of intelligent design is good philosophy. I'm not sure it's all that great as science. And I reject a lot of what's called, neo-Darwinism for just about the same sorts of reasons. It seems to me that no one would ever have come up with the whole idea of evolution if it wasn't that they were starting from the metaphysical premise that miracles do not occur. If we assume that miracles absolutely do not occur, then we can assume uniformitarianism, uniformity in nature, going back as far as is conceivable. But if we don't assume that miracles do not happen, then the further back we go, the more likely it is that a miracle might have occurred. So whether one's going to believe in a kind of creationism or intelligent design or in evolution depends on one's metaphysics, not on one's physics. That's why you can have extremely bright and educated people on both sides of the debate, because it's not really a scientific debate. It is a debate about metaphysics and epistemology. And if you want to win it on either side, those are the two subjects you need to have down: metaphysics and epistemology. So that's why I have been trying to focus on studying philosophy, not on studying science, because I think the real debate is not scientific. Okay, I think next time I'm going to try to finally get into defining the philosophy of narrow philosophical rationalism. I think that's where I'm going for next time, so stay tuned. Okay.